Dear students, in the last class, we studied the extrinsic semiconductor, and in an extrinsic semiconductor, what's an extrinsic semiconductor? It is an impure semiconductor. When a pure semiconducting material like germanium or silicon, if it is doped with some impurity, doping means adding some impurity, then we get the extrinsic semiconductor. Extrinsic semiconductors are having conductivity more than that of the intrinsic semiconductors. And we get N-type semiconductor when the pure semiconductor is doped with pentavalent atoms or pentavalent elements like arsenic, antimony, etc. P-type semiconductor is obtained by adding the trivalent impurity to the pure germanium or silicon. This is how we get P-type and N-type semiconductors. In P-type semiconductor, the majority carriers are holes. There, the added impurity is the trivalent one. So trivalent means it has got only 3 valence electrons. So to form the covalent bond with the silicon or germanium atom, that added impurity atom needs 1 more electron. So it is considered as, that impurity atom is considered as the acceptor atom. It requires 1 electron to form covalent bond with the electron of germanium or silicon. That's why it's called the acceptor impurity. That atom is the acceptor one, so we call the impurity as the acceptor impurity. And in case of P-type semiconductor, the majority charge carriers are the holes. The holes which are created in the valence band. How the holes are created? Since the impurity atom, added impurity atom, which is the acceptor one, it accepts 1 electron from this germanium or silicon atom, so that a vacant site is created in the valence band. That is called the hole. So holes are the majority carriers in case of P-type semiconductor. In case of N-type semiconductor, the added impurity is the pentavalent one. To get N-type semiconductor, pure germanium or silicon is doped with pentavalent atom like arsenic, antimony, etc. Here, pentavalent means it has got 5 valence electrons. So there, 1 electron remains extra. In each atom, 1 electron becomes free. The remaining 4 form the covalent bond, so that the free electrons, more and more free electrons are available for conduction. So in case of N-type, majority carriers are the electrons. These things we studied in the previous class. Now today let us discuss the formation of p-n junction. What is a p-n junction? A p-n junction, it's having 2 junctions, 2 types of semiconductors. P-type and N-type are joined together to form a junction. Actually, it is prepared using a single material. One side is doped with donor atoms, other side doped with the acceptor atoms, so that P-type donor atoms, if one side is doped with the donor atoms, then that side becomes N-type. The side which is doped with acceptor atoms, that becomes P-type. This is how a p-n junction is formed. When a p-n junction is formed, say look at this diagram. A p-n junction is formed. P region, majority carriers are the holes. Nothing but the positive. These positive signs indicate the holes. N-type, majority carriers are electrons. The negative sign indicates the electrons. Now, the charges inside the circles, both sides. Here we have negative charges inside the circle. Here we have positive charges inside the circle. The charges inside the circle, they represent the ionized impurity which cannot move. The ionized impurity. See here, majority carriers are the holes. So the ionized impurity, the negative charge, they cannot move there. Here, these positive charges, they cannot move. But here, the free carriers, holes here, electrons here, they move. The holes, they move from P region to N region. Electrons, they move from N region to P region. And during this process, at the junction, electron-hole recombination takes place. The electrons and holes, they recombine near the junction. So that when they recombine, they leave behind the ionized charges. They leave behind the ionized charges means the holes and electrons, they combine here. Holes leave the ionized charges, negative charges here. The electrons leave their ionized charges, positive charges here. And when electron-hole recombination takes place, then after some time, these leftover charges, positive and negative ions, they create a barrier at the junction. They create a barrier at the junction so that further movement of holes to the N region or this side or electrons from N region to P region, that doesn't take place. Further movement of holes and electrons across the junction is blocked by this barrier. This barrier prevents the further movement of these free carriers. So this junction formed there, it is called, which is free from the free charges, which is depleted of free carriers. This region is depleted of the charge carriers, as electrons as well as holes, and this region is called the potential barrier, also called as the depletion region. This region is called the potential barrier. It behaves like the wall there by preventing further movement of electrons and holes across the junction. This is how when a p-n junction is formed, a depletion region is formed at the junction. This region, when this region is formed there at the junction, see there, this can be explained on the basis of band diagram like this. See, p-type and n-type before contact. Before contact, the isolated p region and n-type semiconductor. P-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductor. And we already discussed, in case of p-type semiconductor, there is a level called the acceptor level above this Fermi level. And the Fermi level is very close to the EV. What is EV? Energy corresponding to the valence band. The highest field level in the valence band. It is denoted as EV. The Fermi level lies between EA and EV. EA corresponds to the acceptor level, where the acceptor electrons, they reside or they exist in this level. The acceptor electrons, they exist in this level. And here, n-type, we find this is EF between EC and ED. ED donor level. See here, holes. I'm sorry, not electrons. In this level, we find the holes there. And here, donor level. The electrons donated by the impurity, they reside or they exist in this level. Here in EA, the holes donated by scarcity or less electrons. The atom accepts electrons means holes are created. So those holes, they exist in this level EA. So here, this is about the energy levels. Because in case of p-type and n-type, before they come into contact, before they are joined together. When they come to contact, when p-n junction is formed, by doping one side of the semiconductor with p-type, other side by n-type. Actually, this is how a p-n junction is prepared. Not adding or not joining p and n together, but when the p-n junction is formed after contact. Now, this is at equilibrium. Now, what do we see here is, when a junction is formed, this region is nothing but the depletion region or the potential barrier at the junction. So when they come, see this junction is formed, the Fermi levels of p-type and n-type, they coincide. Fermi levels, they coincide. And see here, this Fermi level of n-type, from here it comes to, it gets shifted in the downward direction. So that here, and this amount, a potential barrier of E into VB is formed at the junction. VB, the potential difference across the junction. Because of this barrier, and there in the previous diagram, we had seen the ions are created at the junction. Here, this is p-type, this is n-type pins. Here we have the negative ions. Here we have positive ions forming the barrier. And the voltage or the potential difference between these two is nothing but VB, called as barrier potential. when the two p-type and n-type, they form the junction, then what happens? Here see, the Fermi level, they get coincided, and the potential barrier, here it becomes E into VB. The potential barrier becomes EB, and here see, one more thing you can observe is the EC level of n-type comes down. Here it is up, it's above here. As EF gets shifted to this position, EC also comes down. So that the potential difference between the energy difference between EC of n-type, EC of p-type, this energy difference is nothing but E into VB. This much difference is created there when the p-n junction is formed, and this is nothing but the energy difference between the conduction level of p-type, conduction energy level of p-type, and that of the n-type. This is how a p-n junction is formed. And this p-n junction, we call it as a p-n diode. A very important electronic device known as p-n diode. Now, the diode, which is used in many electronic circuits, and this diode, it can be biased in two ways. By supplying external energy to the p-n junction, it is possible to make current to pass through the diode, or it is possible to block the current. There are two types of biasing. Biasing means giving or supplying external energy to the p-n junction using some external source like battery. There are two types of biasing. They are forward biasing of p-n junction and reverse biasing of p-n junction. See here. Now here I have explained forward biasing of p-n junction. The p-n junction is said to be forward biased if p-type of the diode is connected to positive terminal of the battery and n-type is connected to the negative terminal. N-type means negative type. It's like the cathode or the negative terminal of this p-n junction. P-type, positive type, so it's a anode. It is positive. And when p-type connected to the positive terminal of the battery, n-type connected to the negative, the diode is said to be forward biased. And when the diode is forward biased, the electrons, here V is the applied voltage or supplied voltage of the battery. Here, when it is forward biased, p-n junction is forward biased, the electrons in the n region, they gain energy. They gain energy equal to E into V. What is V? This voltage of the external source. EV, that much energy they gain. So as a result, what happens is, when they gain energy, the Fermi level of n-type material shifts from its position shifts in the upward direction. Fermi level, actually it was here, that gets shifted in the upward direction through an amount EV. EV is EV, the voltage applied, E, the charge of the electron. So there will be shift in the Fermi level. It goes near the conduction level or conduction energy level. So that as a result, what happens is the potential difference, this barrier gets decreased. Barrier decreases or it gets reduced by an amount equal to EV, that is E into VB minus V. By an amount equal to E into, not EV, E into VB minus EV. By this amount, there will be reduction in the potential barrier. During forward bias, when the junction is forward biased, this potential barrier gets reduced by an amount equal to E into VB minus V. So that because of reduction in the potential barrier, what happens? Further movement of electrons and holes across the junction, it is again established. When this barrier is reduced, electrons, they move towards the P junction. Movement of electrons to the P region means movement of holes to N region. This electron hole, again, they start moving. That means what happens? As a result, current flows in the circuit. Current flows through the junction, or a current is established in this circuit. Thus, when the junction is forward biased, this p-n diode this PN junction, it acts like an closed switch. The circuit, it behaves like the circuit is closed. Means more and more current flows as we increase this V. As the supply voltage, external voltage, as it is increased, more and more current flows in the circuit. This is what happens in case of forward biasing of PN junction. The diode conducts during forward bias. Why? Because of reduction in the potential barrier. Further movement of electrons takes place. Electrons, they move from N region to hole region, thereby establishing the current in the circuit. This is about forward biasing. The second type is the reverse bias of the PN junction. Reverse bias means P region is connected to the negative of the battery, N is connected to the positive. See, it is like positive to negative, negative to positive. This is nothing but reverse bias. Now, during reverse bias, what happens? The electrons, here in this region, majority carriers are electrons. We also find some holes, are the minority carriers. Here, majority are holes, minority are electrons. So when during reverse bias, what happens? This positive, N connected to positive means the holes or the movement of the free charge carriers is again prohibited across the junction. As a result, the whole electron hole movement is not possible, again prohibited or again restricted across this junction. That means the width of the junction goes on increasing. As you increase the voltage, width of the junction goes on increasing, thereby preventing the movement of free carriers across the junction. Movement of free carriers across the junction blocked means, it is prevented means, no current flows in the circuit. As V increases, this potential barrier width also increases means current goes on decreasing. This is what happens in case of reverse bias. See here, energy level diagram is, in this case, when it is reverse biased, what do we observe is, the Fermi level of N-type, it gets shifted in the downward direction. It gets shifted in the downward direction. When it's shifted, as a result, what happens is, the width of the potential barrier increases by an amount equal to E into V plus VB plus V. By this amount, width of the potential barrier increases. At a given voltage V, the width of the barrier becomes E into VB plus V becomes more by this amount, so that this prevents the further movement of free carriers across the junction. That means no current flows in the circuit. No current means current is not exactly zero. Very few, the current in microamps, it can be observed. In microamps, micro 10 power minus 6 amp. Such a small current is observed in the circuit, that is due to the minority carriers moving across the junction. That is due to only minority carriers. This is about reverse bias of PN junction. And this is the characteristics. Forward and reverse bias characteristics. During forward bias, as we increase the voltage V, the current also goes on increasing. The diode conducts. As voltage increases, current also increases, and the variation of current with the voltage, it will be like this. This is the forward characteristic. The current increases slowly. This is the exponential variation, not linear, exponential variation. Current increases up to a certain value. There onwards, the voltage called as VC, nothing but cut-in voltage. And after this cut-in voltage, the increase in current will be large. Till here, small increase in current. After this cut-in voltage, the current increases rapidly for a very small change in V. A small change in V leads to large change in current. The voltage above which there's a large change in current is called the cut-in voltage. Till cut-in voltage, current increases slowly with increase in voltage. This is forward characteristic. And from this, we find the slope. The slope, what it gives? Slope, delta VF by delta I gives the AC resistance of this diode. This VF by IF gives DC resistance in case of forward bias. When the diode is forward biased, the resistance is very, very small because it conducts. This is reverse characteristic. Again here we plot current against voltage. Current is in microamps. It is in terms of microamps. Here it is in terms of milliamp. And this is the reverse characteristic. This is about the forward bias and reverse bias of PN junction. Now, what is the current in case of? What is the expression for current? Here no derivation, just expression for current through the diode. It is given. The general expression for current through the diode at a temperature T, when the T is called the junction temperature. At a constant temperature T, at a steady temperature T, junction temperature, the current through the diode is given by the formula I equal to Is e to the power EV by eta kT minus 1. This is the expression. Here Is is nothing but the saturation current, reverse saturation current. Reverse, when the diode is reverse biased, there the saturated current is called as Is. It is denoted as Is. E, charge of the electron. V, the applied external voltage. Eta, it's a value, numerical value. It's a not constant. For a given material, it is constant. Eta numerical value depends on the material of the diode. Material used for the diode, like silicon or germanium. Constant for the given material. It is 1 for germanium, 2 for silicon. K, Boltzmann constant. T, that absolute temperature. And this is the expression for current through the diode at a given temperature T for a given voltage V. So what the expression says? Current varies in the exponential form. It varies exponentially with voltage. Suppose during forward bias, V is very high. V large means this term is large. So if you approximate to infinity, this becomes very large, so that minus 1 can be neglected. I becomes Is exponential this. So current varies during forward bias. If is Is into this. What it says? When the junction temperature is kept constant, forward current increases exponentially with the applied voltage, the external voltage. When the junction is reverse biased, during reverse bias, V is minus. V minus means, see the expression becomes this. IR is this, reverse current. Is into this, or 1 by this. V large means this can be approximately infinity, 1 by infinity 0. What you get? IR equal to minus Is. So during reverse bias, we get IR equal to minus Is. What it says? It says that the magnitude of the reverse current is equal to minus Is, and it is independent of the applied voltage. See, just we get IR equal to minus Is. It says that the magnitude of the reverse current is independent of the applied voltage. Whatever may be the applied voltage, the current increases there. For IR equal to minus Is. Whatever may be the applied voltage. This is about current through the diode. With this, I stop here.